And welcome back to All Over the Map. Thanks for tuning in. On this episode, we have News of the Day for the 17th of June, 2023. This is the game, the GeoGuessr game, where we find the top news and sports events of the day on a map. So we play the game, we find the location, we read the news article, and we find out exactly where it is, so that the point of this is to make sure that those of you that watch the news or follow sports events know exactly in the world where this is, bringing geography to news. And we're going to get into this News of the Day game to see what's going on. And when we do this as a no time limit round, time moving, panning, zooming allowed, and the play along link will be in the description below, as will be the 5 news and sports articles below that you can read at your convenience. If you could hit the like button, and off we go to find out our first news event of the day. And what do we have here? A nice beautiful town. Nice beautiful town. And it looks like it's probably Germany to me. Nice landscape, architecture, and what's the deal with Germany? Well, there's been a archaeological find. Archaeologists find a 3,000-year-old sword so well preserved that it's still gleaming. And there it is there. Archaeologists have found an octagonal sword dating from more than 3,000 years ago at a burial site in the state of Bavaria, southern Germany. The sword is so well preserved that it still gleams, which is crazy that you find a sword intact like this nice from 3,000 years ago in the Middle Bronze Age, which is nuts for me. That's why I included this on the News of the Day. It was discovered at a site in Donau Ries, and the researchers believe it was left in the grave as a burial gift. So there we go. We're going to find out where Donau Ries is in Deutschland, southern part of Germany. It did say Bavaria. So 3,000 years ago in this area here, I think it's like north in this area between Nuremberg, Stuttgart, and Munich. In this location, I'm not sure exactly where it was, Donau Ries, but I think it's Wending, somewhere in this area. I think this might be Wending. But in any case, great article, great story. We're actually in Ottingen, in Bayern, that town there, but somewhere in this area where the archaeological find, which is amazing. All right, so we get off to the next news event, and let's see where this takes us. And it takes us to a sporting event. Ironically enough, it doesn't look like a sporting event, but one can see a golf cart there. And the flag of the United States, the flag of California, and what does that say? That is LACC, which is Los Angeles Country Club. When I was searching this up, I wanted to everybody know where the U.S. Open is, which is taking place this weekend, the United States Open, a major in the golf world. For those of you who golf, I know there's other sporting events, but this is one that's pretty big for the world. There's the Google car, by the way, if you can see it there. But obviously you can't go much further there. Not much around here for Los Angeles Country Club at all, other than there's the clubhouse and the golf courses over here. So let's take a quick look at the leaderboard. And right now, as it stands, let's close out these ads. Ricky Fowler is atop the leaderboard on Saturday morning here in the United States. Minus 10, Wyndham Clark and Rory McIlroy at minus 8. So we've got some I would say older folks, but golfers from a longer period of time, I guess, still in play here, or been around for a while, I should say. That's a better way of saying it. Ricky Fowler, after seems to be doing pretty well, but I know that he also had a heckler heckling him. I'm not sure if it says here in the article. You can read if you want. Golf, I play a little bit of golf. It's not my favorite sport to play. I do watch it, do play from time to time, but I know a lot of you do play golf, so wanted to include this at some point on All Over the Map's News of the Day. So through 2 rounds, Ricky Fowler's leading. We'll see how he winds up on Saturday and Sunday. So let's find out where Los Angeles Country Club is, this beautiful country club. And there's also something I want to make note on this too. Not going to be able to get to it on this map, but it's an interesting note when I was looking this up and making this map. Is Los Angeles Country Club is, let's see here, where was it again? It's interesting how I was kind of obsessed with the is this it? Yeah, Los Angeles Country Club is just in Beverly Hills. I was thinking there for a second. When you think of Los Angeles Country Club, I'm thinking downtown Los Angeles, but there we are at Wilshire Boulevard, the Beverly Hilton Los Angeles Country Club. And again, we're going to drop that. I think it was right about here. Where's that gatehouse? It goes right about here. It's as far as it goes, the Google Maps. And if you go anywhere here in Wilshire Boulevard, you can't see anything with the golf course. But what's interesting, we're in Beverly Hills at the Los Angeles Country Club, the U.S. Open. And near this playground, right up here, is the Playboy Mansion, which is off of the back. I guess I never realized this. Backing up the Playboy Mansion is the golf course. So if you're watching golf or you're watching U.S. Open from wherever you are in the world, I'm not sure what hole that is on. But again, I haven't been watching it at all. I just know that it's big, and a lot of people do watch golf, but I didn't realize that, we got Beverly Hills, but we also have the Beverly Hills Mansion sits on Los Angeles Country Club grounds, or close to it anyway. So I wonder what hole that is there. Anyway, we've dropped it there for the Los Angeles Country Club U.S. Open. Maybe Ricky Fowler wins it, maybe he doesn't, but there we are. That's where it is. Also, for me, being on the East Coast, golf, because it's 3 hours behind where I'm located, the golf goes later into the evening, the final rounds, and I'm sure it'll go, if you're in Europe, probably into the morning. So let's get off to the next news event of the day. Let's see where we wind up. And we got the Belarusian flag, or the Belarusian, I guess that's, not sure what that is, but that is on the Belarusian flag, green, the red, and that. We are in a square in Minsk. And why is this? There's the 9th of May. I guess it's looks like they're getting ready for a celebration for the 9th of May mural or whatever there. But we are in the square in Minsk. And why this is being included on News of the Day is we've got the Ukraine war. So this is stuff that is dominating headlines, and Putin confirming first nuclear weapons move to Belarus. Not sure where they're located. Trying to find where they're located, but decided to include Minsk, Belarus, the capital, and the government square there. Russia has already stationed the first batch of tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. Vladimir Putin says Russia's presidents told a forum that they would be only used if Russia's territory or state was threatened. The U.S. government says there's no indication that Kremlin plans to use nuclear weapons to attack Ukraine. So, Belarus is an ally. Obviously, this is taking things up a little bit, but things you don't necessarily want to see. At least I don't want to see this. Rather, peace prevail in all of this. It's the best for everybody. But obviously, Putin's feeling like he needs to do something, and the West, including Ukraine and NATO, feel like they'll probably need to do something as well. So I wouldn't think that these headlines will go down. It probably will only continue, unfortunately, as this is the case in the world in 2023. So let's find out where this is and why this would be important. Obviously, Ukraine shares a border with Russia. For those of you, I'm sure many of you do know this, but there are some that watch this that don't necessarily have an understanding. I'm kind of talking to those people, and those people generally are more likely in the United States and are younger. You know, some folks that I know in family that tend to watch this stuff, want to learn. So we just want to make sure here where people know where Ukraine is, where Russia is, and that Belarus is an ally here of Russia. So that's why Russia is putting tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus, which is not a great thing, but there we are. So this is the capital, Minsk. Right in the center was the government buildings, and we're here in, I think, Government Square, or whatever they call it there, which I believe is down here. Here, the Capitol Mall. Yeah, the head of the government. Actually, the other thing that's interesting here is the Lenin Monument. That is Lenin's monument right there. I didn't realize this, but it looks like a military person standing next to the Lenin's monument. So there we go. Minsk, Belarus, for the third news event of the day. And let's go to the fourth one for Saturday. By the way, we're going to do news of the day. Saturdays, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do this a little more frequently since there's been some interest in it, and I've gotten some emails around people wanting me to do this more often, which I think it's a great thing. I think geography is a big part of it. In this particular round, as we look here with this lady and the child, will also give some helpful perspective to a situation here on this big news event from around the world. But yeah, I'm going to try to do this Saturday, maybe Mondays and Wednesdays. So, and if there's more interest and people continue to watch and people want this, I'll try to get this in with other games and try to get this to a daily basis, because I do love the news. I love learning about news events from around the world, sports events from around the world as well, and most importantly, knowing where these things are happening and why. And any commentary. So if you have any comments on news or anything like that, I'd love to hear from your perspective on things and your opinions. Okay, so we've got a lady, and I guess her baby there, here in the jungle in Colombia. So for those of you that don't know, there was a plane crash where children survived. I believe it was 40 days after a plane crash in Colombia, which is crazy. This news site, or this actual mapping the search for Colombia's plane crash children article, but really it's a visual by the BBC, is really good. Highly recommend looking at this. Again, the link for the news articles in the description below. And I'll just real brief. 4 indigenous children went missing after their plane crashed in the Colombian jungle on the 1st of May. A massive search operation was launched to track them down. The search team finally spotted the children, aged 13, 9, 5, and 1 after hearing them crying. All 4 were exhausted, malnourished, and dehydrated, but alive after 40 days. Great news. This is unbelievable. So they're traveling with their mother, and the plane crashed, as we see here, going from the southern part of Colombia up to the north to these two states. And there's a crash, I guess, halfway in between. It took 2 weeks to find the wreckage of this Cessna here, which had crashed nose first into the jungle. Unfortunately, the pilot did not survive. Neither did the mother, it doesn't look like. But what was interesting about this is they found these different items, the searchers did. And this is the possible route that was taken, because they found these different items from the kids to help locate them over the period of time. So you see a 1 kilometer or a couple kilometer hike. But you see here footprints, nappies, or phone case, baby's bottle. And then the actual patrol in the search of this area was pretty crazy. It's a large, very large area. And then it has here the size of the area that they searched was, if you look at, you're from London or from New York, the size is just massive that they covered, and finally found the children after 40 days, which it's amazing. It is amazing. Pretty good article here. Talks about rebel groups, a lot of different maps within this particular news article on the BBC. Pretty good. But yeah, this is pretty amazing that they found the children, which is always a good news story, which we'll try to include on these news of the day. So let's find out where exactly this is in the world. And when I picked this, it was as close to the area as possible, which wasn't that far away. But if we look again on the map, from the BBC, we've got the state here, and I think it was, there it is, Carrera. I think that's what it is, up to the San Jose del Guaviare, which is not too far, but fell halfway in between near El Rosal. Not much out here, folks, but jungle. So you can imagine how tough this might have been to locate, and the children. I just can't imagine 40 days, a 13-year-old down to a 1-year-old. That's just crazy. So, yeah, good to know that they're in safe hands. It's unfortunate about the mother and the pilot, but could have been worse. So there we go. In Colombia for there. Again, I picked the closest photos here. There's not much out here, folks, in terms of any type of Google images or whatever, but that was as close as possible that I could find, which makes sense because it was probably tough to find the kids as it took 40 days. Just amazing, amazing story. All right, so we get off to the fifth and final round, and what do we wind up with? We're going to wind up with always a Finnish round because a lot of you from Finland, a lot of you that watch this, these news of the day. So decided to include a combination of Finland and sports because we try to do one or two sports events of news of the day, and the majority obviously is try to do a good news event, sports, and main news events from around the world. Why do we include this one? Well, and why are we including Helsinki's Olympic Stadium? Well, Finland had a big win on one of the hottest or warmest days, I guess hottest days in Finland this year against Slovenia. So big win for the European qualifiers. Past master Timo Pukki sets up Finland for a 2-0 win over Slovenia. And Euro 2024 qualifier. Thinking of Finland's Helsinki, combining Finland and Helsinki. Finland's all-time leading scorer, Timo Pukki, set up goals for Joel, Paul, Jan Paolo, and Oliver Antman as they beat Slovenia 2-0 in their Group H European qualifier on Friday to move top spot in the group, with Denmark set to meet Northern Ireland. I think Denmark did win that one. Kazakhstan did beat San Marino later on Friday. This news event is actually a little older. The result will lift the Finns to 6 points after 3 games. So that's good. That puts him in a good spot. Timo Pukki there. I know he was talking about, or there was some transfer news that he might go to Minnesota United in Major League Soccer, which would be interesting because a lot of Finns up in Minnesota. But in any case, I believe there's also a Finnish player that plays for Minnesota United, national team player, I believe. But anyway, big win. Finland, if you're a Finnish soccer or football supporter, comment down below. Love to hear from you and who your favorite player is. And if you're at this game, let me know. Was it warm? It looks like it was a warm, nice summer day and a big win for Finland. So, with that, let's look up the Helsinki Olympic Stadium in Finland. I think we've been here before on the outside, a big tower. And let's see here. Helsing's Olympic Stadion shows right up here. The tourney, and I think we're on the south side of the stadium. So there we go. That's where we were. This, we get not a perfect score, but close. So we went a good bit around the world, from Colombia to Los Angeles to Helsinki, Bavaria in Germany, and Minsk, Belarus for news of the day. Again, if you have any requests or any thoughts on any types of news events or games you want me to play, comment down below or send me an email at alloverthemap23@gmail.com. And with that said, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, cheers.